519, 520, 521, 522, 523, 524, 525, 526, 527, 528, 529, 530, 531, 532, 533, 534, 535, 536, 537, 538, 539, 540, 541, 542, 543, 544, 545, 546, 547, 548, 549, 550, 551, 552, 553, 554, 555, 556, 557, 558, 559, 560, 561, 562, 563, 564, 565, 566, 557. Senator Adamale.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. My name is Muhammad Adamu Aleru, representing Kebbi Central. I rise to move that the votes and proceedings on Thursday, 19th July 2018 be approved. I so move.
Senator Samayahu.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, Samayahu Imo East. I rise to second the motion that votes and proceedings of Thursday, 19th July 2018 be approved. I so second, Mr. President.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that the votes and proceedings of Thursday, 19 July 2018 be hereby approved, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Votes and proceedings of Thursday, 19 July 2018 is hereby approved. Letter from Mr. President. Dear distinguished Senate President, confirmation appointment of chairman and members of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, in accordance with provision of Section 38(6) of the Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offence Commission Establishment Act 2000, I have the pleasure to present on the listed names for confirmation as chairman and members of Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offence Commission ICPC by the Senate. 1. Professor Bolaji Wansoe, Chairman of Osun Southwest. Dr. Grace N. Chinda, Member Delta South South. Okolo Titus M., Member Enugu Southeast. Barrister Biora Ugwedebia, Member Anambra Southeast. Mrs. Olubukola Bankole Balogun, Olubukola Balogun, Member Lagos Southwest. Justice Adamu Bello, Member Katsina Northwest. Hanatu Mohammed, Member Jigawa Northwest. Abdullahi Mekano Saidu, Member Niger North Central. And Yaya Umar Dawood, Member Nasarawa North Central. Please find attached copies of their curriculum vitae while looking forward to your usual expeditious consideration. Please accept, Mr. Senate President, the assurances of my highest esteem. Yours sincerely, Muhammad Buhari. Letter to the Senate President. Dear Senate President, after due consultation with our constituents and stakeholders in our constituency, in proper recognition of Section 681G of the 19th Constitution as amended, and for the fact of our party, the All Progressives, is hereby majority faction, we hereby inform the Senate that we, the undersigned, Senator Dino Milai Kogi West, Senator Benade Gabas Ganade Benue State, Senator Ibrahim Dembaba Sokoto State, Senator Shaba Lafa Jikwara North, Senator Mohamed Shitu Jigawa, Senator Rafi Ibrahim Kwara South, Senator Unkui Kaduna North, Senator Isa Haman Bauchi Central, Senator Mosura Sumoni Oyo Central, Senator Shoji Akombi Oyo South, Senator Usman Bayero Nafada Gombe North, Senator Musa Kwankoso Kano Central, Senator Nazif Bauchi North, Senator Alain Wadi Joshu Ogun Central, hereby informed that we don't say changing our political affiliation from the All Progressive Congress to the People's Democratic Party. We thank you for your exemplary leadership, as always. Yours sincerely. Letter from the Chief Whip. Invitation to a public lecture. I'd like to inform you that I will be the guest lecturer at the public lecture in honor of Dr. B.G.K. Ajayi and Ibadan Medical School at 70 scheduled to hold as follows: Wednesday, 25th July 2018. Venue, Paul Hendrick Lecture Theatre, College of Medicine, University College Hospital, Ibadan. Time, 10 a.m. The title of the lecture is Averting the Approaching Gales. I am extending the invitation to Your Excellency and all distinguished senators to be my guests at the lecture. Kindly receive my assurances of the best regard. Chief Whip. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues.
Order.
Mr. President,
Order, please. Order, please.
Mr. President, let me, before I read this, make a statement or comment on the letter you have just read. Mr. President, the APC, our party, certainly has its own internal challenges. We have internal disagreements. But, Mr. President,
Order, please. Order. Order, please.
Senator Dino Milai is come under personal explanation. Go ahead, leader.
thank you very much, Mr. President. Mr. President, we have our internal challenges, and as a political party, we all know how so much efforts by so many stakeholders to address the issues that bedevil this party. Mr. President, the disagreements do not translate into factionalization. I therefore feel that our senators, our brothers of the APC stock, do not have to move to any other party. I also believe that because the issues are under serious discussion by the major stakeholders of this party and leaders and elders of this party, I will urge, Mr. President, that that announcement be quarantined and contained.
Order, please.
That announcement be contained and give us and the leaders of this party the opportunity to exhaust all the avenues to address the issues. Mr. President, very seriously speaking, Dino, very seriously speaking, this matter should be stepped down until we exhaust. You are talking about APC family, you are not part of us. Until we exhaust all the opportunities. And I want to assure, Mr. President, I want to assure all of us here on this side that what will come out of the synergy is going to address everybody's issues. Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you, Leader. Your point of explanation is noted. Leaders, as you know, I'm sure you've seen that the seat beside you is absent. As we speak now, the Deputy Senate President cannot get out of his house. He's under siege. This morning, I could not also in my street as well, all by efforts by some people that believe that today's sitting must not hold because some members want to move or defect. This is not something that has started today. It will not end today. People have gone, they've come back, as you rightly said, but these kind of actions does not allow for what you are saying. You are speaking as a leader of the Senate who has been here for many years. And as such, well, how the son of DSPs are talking to him now, he can't come out of his house, being siege. So these are the challenges. But it appears, even as I'm speaking to you now, I think I read you 14 names. I just have to add one more sentence. Yako just added his name to the list, to page 15. So, but the point you have made is well noted, and I hope that we must save this democracy. People have free association. They can even go back tomorrow. I've been sitting here, I think over 15 people have decamped or defected to one party or the other. There has been no siege. People have come here, they've moved, they've got off, they've moved up. We have even joked and jested and pulled them back. I don't believe that this should come to this level where people will be dead under siege for something that is, at the end of the day, is personal to them. So it's noted. Thank you. Leader of the Senate. Point of order, Senator Gamade. Senator Gamade.
Mr. President, I rise on the consideration of Order 42, matter of urgent public importance. Mr. President, I will take the order as read, if you will permit, and go ahead to inform this distinguished Senate that we have had the unfortunate demise of the former Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Aloysius Katsina Alu. And if the Senate would permit, I would like to bring a motion in tribute of this great man tomorrow, as the chair permits. Thank you.
Distinguished colleagues, according to our rules, I need your leave for us to take this motion at the next legislative day. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. This will come the next legislative day. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished.
Okay, point of order, Senator Leader.
Mr. President, Mr. President, by the indulgence of the Senate and the leave of the President of the Senate, a senator may make a personal explanation, although there be no question before the Senate, but no controversial matter may be brought forward nor may debate arise upon the explanation. The terms of the proposed statement shall be submitted in detail to the Senate President. Mr. President, let me start by thanking the Senate leader for speaking very well and speaking very eloquently, and for the manner to which he has handled the Senate thus far. Mr. President, I want to especially welcome and congratulate those who have decided to join the People's Democratic Party. Mr. President, there's a level to which you can cage people, there's a level to which you can intimidate people, and there's a level to which people, when they feel that they are not safe, they feel that it is time to move and forge ahead. Mr. President, this is what has happened in the Senate. People are practicing democracy here. People, just like you said, that this morning the Deputy Senate President has been stopped from coming out of his house. Mr. President, this is not good for our democracy. People should be allowed to express themselves. People should be allowed to say what bothers them and the things they want to do. Mr. President, these are issues that would have ordinarily been discussed, but unfortunately, Leader, the opportunity has been lost. I want to thank very much for losing that opportunity and for giving us opportunity to have 14 senators back in the people, 15 senators back in the People's Democratic Party. 16 now. I welcome you to the People's Democratic Party, and God bless you.
Your President's question is noted. Leader of the Senate. Oh, petition. Sorry. Where are you?
Mr. President, distinguished colleague, Adiola Solomon Olamilekan, I represent the good people of Lagos West Senatorial District, the largest senatorial district in Nigeria in terms of population. I'm from Lagos State. Mr. President, I have a petition here against the nomination of the AMCON chairman, Mr. Moise Banire, from one of my constituents. Mr. President, distinguished colleague, also enclosed with the petition is the 3 signatures of the 3 senators from Lagos State against that nomination. With the kind permission of the chair, I would like to lay the petition before the Senate.
Yeah, come and lay the petition. Petition referred to ethics and privileges. Report back in 2 weeks. Yeah, point of order, Senator Dinomile.
Mr. President, my respected colleagues, Dino Melaye, Kogi West. Mr. President, I want to speak from the order of the Senate, Order 14. Privileges and rights enjoyed by the Senate collectively and by the members of the Senate individually conferred by the Legislative House's Powers and Privileges Act, Cap 208, Laws of the Federation 1990 and other statutes, or by practice, precedent, usage, and custom. Mr. President, I want to start by thanking the Almighty God that I am speaking to you today as a living soul. I want to bring to the notice of the Senate that I traveled to my constituency on Wednesday the 18th of July, 2018, and I had programs slated for commissioning of constituency projects. Mr. President, before the commencement of this tour, I wrote the Nigerian police through the CP Kogi State, I wrote the DSS Kogi State, I wrote the Civil Defense in Kogi State, giving them my schedule of movement and asking for protection throughout the commissioning of all these projects. Mr. President, I wrote a second reminder letter 4 days after, seeking for protection from all the security agencies in Kogi State. The chairman of my security planning committee went to see the commissioner of police in person to also ask for their cooperation, protection throughout these tours. My lawyer, Ricky Tafa, SAN, also wrote the Director General of SSS, wrote the Commissioner of Police Kogi State, wrote the DSS Director in Kogi State, asking that there is imminent threat to my programs and my life. Mr. President, the security agencies refused to respond. Only the Civil Defense provided 10 armed men who went around with me on the 18th. And on the 19th, I proceeded to Yagba Federal Constituency for commissioning of projects. Mr. President, as I got to the boundary of Isonlu in Yagba Hills local government, a state government grader was used in barricading the road to stop me from moving. Also, there were bonfires on the road to stop me from moving. We just simply turned back and returned back to Mopamuro, where I commissioned some projects. Mr. President, after the commission of projects in Mopamuro local government, I was going back to my village, Ayetorogbede, when we met police trucks blocking the road. Between Yagba and Ayetoro, we met 6 military and police checkpoints, and there was nothing happened. As we just approached this police barricade in Ayetoro-Gbede, Mr. President, policemen opened fire on the convoy. My cars were riddled with bullets. I thank the Almighty God that I'm alive. I am not talking about hoodlums or assassins. I'm talking about men of the Nigerian police, led by the OC Mopo and the Chief Security Officer of Government House. I saw them. They opened fire on us. To the glory of God, we escaped. Mr. President, I won't escape assassination by the police. I saw the Commissioner of Police in Kogi State on TV asking that it was my convoy that opened fire on the police, with 10 armed civil defense people leading the convoy. And they gave a lie that the last ELOS on my convoy opened fire on them. But simple logic will state that if the last ELOS out of a convoy of over 20 cars open fire on you, then my car and my backup is the second and third car. How did they get fired? Mr. President, 2 weeks ago, I raised the issue of my security in this chamber, and you, my colleagues, I want to thank you again that you took a decision that the civil defense and police provide me with security. Till this minute I am speaking, they have not responded, and a day after this incident, they went back to my house, my gate and entered and started shooting sporadically. So as I speak to you, Mr. President, my life is in danger. I want to bring this to the notice of the Senate so that the Senate can ask that a resolution be enforced and to help me from Yaya Bello and the police in Kogi State, because this was an assassination attempt by the police on my life and I need to be protected as a citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Above all, this is because they want to cow some of us, they want to stop some of us from speaking, but we will not stop speaking. Our anchor is in God, and I will continue to say, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. I want to bring this to the notice of the Senate, so that the Senate will be aware that my life is in imminent danger. I thank you for those of you who called and prayed. God Almighty will continue to protect every one of us from militocracy and genetocratic leadership. I thank the Senate, I thank the leadership of the Senate. God bless you all.
Today, we're all happy to see that you are back and safe. We thank God for your lives. As you described, it's been a very horrific situation, and we'll continue to all fight and ensure we'll protect us and protect you in this journey. Yeah, Senator Otazi.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm Senator Chukwuka Otazi. I represent the good people of Enugu North Central District of Enugu State. Mr. President, I'm coming on order 42 and 52, matter of urgent public importance. The matter for discussion shall, if possible, be referred to the President of the Senate before commencement of their sitting. And the President of the Senate shall refuse to allow the claims unless he is satisfied that the matter is definite and urgent. And that is about the incarceration of the Deputy Senate President of the Federal Republic, Senator Ikechukwu Ekweremadu. And also on order 52, notice shall not be dispensed with, in the case of motion or in respect of any other proceeding for which notice is required, except with consent of the President of the Senate and the general assent of the Senators present. Mr. President, I want to talk about the incarceration of the Deputy Senate President who has lost his freedom. And if the Senate gives me permission, I will want to speak on this, Mr. President. Now,
distinguished colleagues, I seek leave of the members to take this motion. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Carry on.
I remain Senator Chukwuka Otazi. I represent the good people of Enugu State. Mr. President, this morning I left Enugu for Abuja to be in today's sitting. Halfway into the airport, I had a distress call from the personnel, the aides working with the distinguished Senator Ikechukwu, the Deputy Senate President, that their master, that their house and the streets, the entire streets, has been cordoned off. That the Deputy Senate President or the staff or anybody from his compound could not move out of his house or gain entry into the compound. As I'm talking, the people of Enugu State residents in Abuja have all called all of us here. They have moved to his house and are there shouting under the rain that they don't know what is happening to our brother from Enugu State. What offense he has committed that will warrant that he will not be allowed to come out from his house or allow any visitor to move into his house. The children and the wife that go to work, none of them could go to work today. All of them were stopped from coming out from their houses. And the people are worried. We want want to know what Senator Ike Kwemado has done to warrant that he cannot move out from his house. We have insinuations that today's sitting is going to be turbulent. We had insinuations, my people told me, that they said today's sitting will not hold. My people told me that they heard that some people are going to defect, and because of that they don't want him to come to the sitting. They also told me that they don't want the Senate President to come, so that nobody will be here. Both the presiding officers will not be here. But we thank God here today that the Senate President is in this place. But my brother from Enugu State could not come here today. He wished to be in these chambers, Mr. President. And I'm using this opportunity, speaking the minds of all the people from Enugu State and the entire southeast region of this country, and Nigerians, the lovers of democracy, and people who want freedom, that everybody should call the Mr. President, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, to call, to give directive to all the agencies that have cordoned the house of Ekwemado, to leave his house alone, to leave his house and vicinity, and allow him to come out from the imprisonment he has been subjected since 7 a.m. this morning. Mr. President, this is uncalled for. This is not going to help our democracy. Our people are afraid. Our people are crying over there. If you go to his house here, all the Enugu people and beyond the southeast region are all there clamoring and crying under the rain that the freedom of Ekwemado should be restored, and that of every member who is here doing the business of legislation should be given free rein to speak his mind on any issue of importance that touches his heart. Mr. President, I thank you and ask our colleagues here to rise in unison and speak here and ask that Ekwemado should regain his freedom. Thank you so much.
Senator Samayan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Very distinguished colleagues, Samayan Imo East. Mr. President, I rise to second this motion moved by Senator Otazi. Mr. President, as of yesterday, I was with the Deputy Senate President. As at the time I was with him, I've never had any notice or any information that is being wanted by the police. So I wonder, and there have not been any information of any sort that is being wanted by the police. And of course, as the Deputy Senate President of this country, I believe that if he's being wanted by police, they will invite him and of course he will honor it. But the idea of laying siege in his official quarters for no reason demands for explanation. Mr. President, I am sure too that, but I'm sure by the time some of us will live there will be a siege also in our various places. But this is part of democracy. This is part of the things we suffer for democracy. But it is unfair that it is within this period that we have a new administration we believe that will protect the people, protect Nigerians, that Nigerians are now afraid of going to their respective homes. Mr. President, I think that as the Deputy Senate President of this Senate, with a National Assembly, of course, we demand that we need to know why. If there's any cogent and verifiable reasons why the police should take a siege, we should be notified. And as a very responsible parliamentarian he is, of course I know he would adhere to such invitation. But the idea of laying siege sends a lot of signals. And I can tell you, Mr. President, that this morning I received about 3 calls from America and London. And these people has already moved this information to the international community. And it's not a good thing for our democracy. It's not good for us at all. I think that the security agencies, the police, should be able to vacate his premises. If there's any reason for them to invite him, they should invite him. And of course, we honor them. But this idea is causing a lot of fears in the people. People are no longer sure of this democracy because they don't even believe if actually there's going to be election in this 2019, the way things are going. So as a senator representing Imo East and as a Nigerian, I believe that this is not necessary. That we should be very cautious of whatever we're doing, because it's not only today. After today, there will still be tomorrow. It is Saraki today, it's Ekweremadu today, it could be somebody else tomorrow. I want, Mr. President, no matter the intimidation, no matter whatever they are doing, I still want to repose my confidence in Mr. President of the Senate, and of course my brother, the Deputy Senate President, that my confidence in you is more guaranteed this time around. So I think, Mr. President, it is important, we as senators, no matter wherever leaning you are, no matter your political affiliation, we must remember that this institution remains paramount. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Butcher.
Thank you, Mr. President. Very distinguished colleagues. My name is Emmanuel Boacha. I represent Taraba South. Mr. President, it's with heavy heart I rise to contribute to the issue raised by Senator Otazi. I'm deeply worried because the development is a very strange one that has not only threatened our democracy, it appears to be threatening the unity of this country. And I must say that we need to tread with caution, because development like this has never happened before since the return of democracy in 1999. When this morning I saw on the bar of the African Independent Television that security men had laid siege on the Deputy Senate President, and you are very safe, I became afraid naturally, because fear is as old as man. And I was asking whether it is the same with all principal officers, with all senators. When I peeped through my gate, I discovered there were no security men there. Mr. President, we need prayers, and this is a time we have to stand up a statement and speak truth to authority. We're not doing this in disdain of an individual, no. It is about the institution. And I know also the matter is now beyond political party. It's about the survival of democracy and how our country will stand as a united Nigeria. Many people have fought to keep this country united, including the commander-in-chief himself, the president. And I'm sure he will not like to see this country being run down by overzealous individuals or overzealous security operatives. I want to advise, as a member of this Senate, that our security operatives should understand that they are supposed to protect all of us. They are supposed to protect all of us. And threats like this do not actually help matters. Somebody, you are threatening him, you are rather encouraging him to even do that which he's doing. And no country has used violence to provide solution to issues of disagreement. It has never happened. You will use, whichever way you end up, you will come to the table to discuss. And I think it is very, very wrong. The situation is appearing like the parliament is no longer in existence. And if it is true, then that means it's similar to a situation where there is a military coup. The parliament is being wiped away, then the situation is now between the judiciary and the executive. If that is so, fine. We can well pack our things and go. And I want to advise those who are trying to dent the image of the president. They should be very, very careful. And they should know that the president also fought for the unity of this country. I think this is my take. And having said this, Mr. President, I want to welcome our very new colleagues who have joined the PDP. And I want to assure the presidency that we will cooperate as the majority party in the Senate. We will cooperate to ensure that the government is run smoothly and there is no disagreement, there is no rancor. We will ensure that we achieve the set target for people of Nigeria to be happy with what we are doing. And for our brothers who are in the minority in the Senate, we crave your cooperation and understanding in this new narrative. We are prepared to cooperate to ensure that we carry Nigeria to the next level. Thank you, Mr. President.
Prayers. The two prayers here. One, the Senate resolve to demand that the secret agency vacate the Deputy Secretary House immediately and allow him to enjoy his constitutional rights. And two, that the Senate does adjourn immediately till the annual vacation in September. Distinguished colleagues, let me just contribute to this debate on the issue of the Deputy Senate President, because I spoke to him this morning too, when I found that my house too, as early as 6:30, was under siege. The road leading to my place was cordoned off, and all cars coming in and out as early as 6:30 were being stopped, and you had to come down. My convoy was stopped and in moving, being something that one was prepared for. I had my own car to bring, and the Deputy Secretary called me and said he could not come here. And as you all are aware, very late yesterday, as late as 8 p.m., I received a letter asking me to report the police on a case of a robbery which had been concluded before now. So we had a situation where the Deputy Senate President could not come here, and I was already going somewhere else. This place would not have been able to hold today. For that reason, I had to come here to hold place. But as you all rightly said, if one of our colleagues cannot come out for no fault of his, and I too, I cannot see how we can continue to sit here and ignore the fact that one of us, the presiding officer, cannot sit or be here. And if it was by the plan, I too should not have been here, and the Senate would not have been able to sit today by the plans as of this morning. It was just by always by the intervention of the Almighty God that I managed to get myself here. Otherwise, would not have been able to sit. And I think it's important that my colleagues, and that is why, I've been able to come here to continue to see the issues of the country that we have to do. But presently now, before I put those prayers for us, so that we can take decision on these prayers and decide how we're going to deal with these issues, which is actually preventing us from sitting if the presiding officers are not available to sit. So I'll take the two prayers. First prayer is that the Senate resolve to demand that the security agency vacates the Deputy Senate President's house immediately and allow him to enjoy his constitutional rights. Those in favor of prayer one say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer two, that the Senate does adjourn immediately till after the annual vacation in September. 26th of September. Yes, Senator Gamadi.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Barnabas Gamade. I represent Benue Northeast Senatorial District. Mr. President, I wish to comment on the prayer that's just been read before the vote is taken. To point out that if the vote is in affirmative, it means 8 weeks we are away. So it may be necessary to amend prayer that we adjourn and have our votes and proceedings approved within another hour before the question is put for the long adjournment to be taken. This is in order to ensure that we have all our records put in the right perspective before we go on the long vacation. So this first adjournment should be a 1-hour one, and the second one will be the long one. We need not go out of this chamber after the first adjournment. That is my proposal.
Let me first put the question then for the second prayer, that the senators adjourn to the September 25th. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate. Uh, 30 minutes to say to take them.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I move that the Senate adjourn for 30 minutes to enable our Secretariat produce the votes and proceedings of today. I therefore move that we reconvene at 12:05 p.m. I so move.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, may I second the motion? May I second the motion as moved by the minority leader that the Senate do?
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.